So today, I'll be playing Minecraft, but that's kinda boring. So as always, I'll be making myself suffer, and I'll be making a stupid custom Minecraft mod every day for 100 days. Why did I do this to myself? And also, for half of these mods, I'll be using your stupid mod ideas. So on day 1, I was too lazy to do all this stuff just to get a stone pickaxe, so I just skipped all that and I made a dirt pickaxe instead, which is pretty good. I then realized that there's 2 villages in between this one mountain, so I decided to make my base there to run a dictatorship. On day 2, I needed a weapon, so I made bees with guns, who I can tame to attack mobs for me. Day 3, I was having a hard time moving around the mountain, so I used one of your ideas to make some wings to fly with. Then on day 4, I made an idea to make a Nintendo Switch, and then the next day I used it and it teleported me to Tom Nook's house, and he agreed to fund me the materials I needed to build my house, as long as I paid him back later. On day 6, I made an idea to make a poop mod, and when you crouch, you poop, and you can then smelt that to make poop ingots, but later it got too annoying, so I deleted it. Day 7, I was kinda bored, so I used an idea to make a water gun that shoots water. And then on day 8, I added an idea to add sussy music, which plays when you do something sus. Then the next day, I made a TV with a video on it. I've made a severe and continuous lapse in my judgment, and I'm sorry for putting an Among Us reference in my video. On day 10, I made a Bowser boss, but my bees killed him pretty fast. Then on day 11, I couldn't think of any ideas, so I asked my brother, and he said make a ham sandwich that gives you obesity. Day 12, I made roller skates that make you fast. And then the next day, I made an idea to make a Discord mod dimension. And when I entered the dimension, it was chaos. So to save both my ears and my FPS, I left. On day 14, the bees with guns kept on getting in my way, so I made a bee gun instead, that when you shoot a mob with it, it spawns bees that attack the mob. So on day 15, I wanted to go on an adventure, but I needed to prepare, so I made salt, and when you snort it, it gives you speed, jump boost, and strength. Then on day 16, I went out on my adventure and I found the next idea, Taco Bell, and inside it, if I pray to the taco gods, I get tacos. Then on my way back, I found the best country on earth, Liechtenstein. And I also found a pig who I named John. So usually in these videos, I collect and put mobs in cages. So the next day, I used an idea to make Eevee, who I put in a cage. Then for day 19, I was told to make a sub button, which if you decide not to sub, you get struck by lightning. But if you do sub, you get a diamond. On day 20, I made an idea to make Star Wars Jedi, who I also put in a cage. Day 21, I made Donkey Kong, and he tells me if a joke's not funny. So for example, where do fruits go on vacation? Paris. So I've only been eating bread, which isn't that very nutritious. So on day 22, I made worms that you can eat. Then the next day, I wanted to trade with some villagers, but they had some terrible trades. So I made a villager locator that finds the nearest villager and places lava on top of them. So on day 24, I added an idea to make a BTS Happy Meal, and when you eat it, it spawns BTS Jimin. So of course I had to put him in a cage as well. Day 25, I made an anteater, and usually I'd put it in a cage, but since anteaters shouldn't exist and are ugly, I burned it. On day 26, I had been using a stone sword and I needed a better one, so I made the Master Sword from The Legend of Zelda. For day 27, I made Mr. Krabs, and when you give him money, he gives you Krabby Patties. The next day, I was told to make hamsters, so I did, but that's kinda boring. So I also made it shoot lasers. And I also finished my house that day. Turn any mob into a gun. So when I right-click on a pig, I get a pig gun, and when I shoot a mob with it, they become pigs. On day 30, I made a VR headset, and when I wear it, I get sent to your next idea, which was make a Florida Man dimension, which has alligators and Florida men everywhere. Day 32, I added an idea to make a dinosaur which you can ride. Then for day 33, I used an idea to make Shadow the Hedgehog, but I don't know what he does, so I made it so that you can tame and ride him and make him shoot lightning. And on day 34, the next next idea was to make a one-hit stick, which launches mobs. Then on day 35, I added Mark Rober, who gives you a glitter bomb, so I decided to prank some villagers with it, but then I found out it was an actual bomb. On day 36, I wanted to go on another adventure, so I made a truck, but of course I needed some insurance for that truck, so the next day I made the Geico Gecko. And then on day 38, I made a Milky Way bar, which when I eat it, it sends me to space. On day 39, since I hadn't paid Tom Nook back, he came to my house and stole John, and brought him to his castle, so I had to prepare to take him back. First, I made a power-up block from Mario that gives me coins and mushrooms. Then on day 40, I needed some armor, so I made an idea to make the rock armor. And on day 41, I left to go find the castle, but Tom Nook had sent some mobs to try and stop me, starting with Wario. But I dug into a hole to try and find an idea to stop him, and that's when I found one. Add Legos. And when someone steps on it, they stub their toe so hard, they explode. Then on day 43, he sent Baby Yoda to distract me with its cuteness, but it didn't work. For day 44, he sent Baldi, but I also made him stub his toe. And then on day 45, he sent an army of Roblox noobs, which I defeated, and then I found Tom Nook's castle. Then the next day, I started to prepare to invade his castle, so I made a Hylian shield which gives you resistance, and on day 47, I made a Giga Chad effect that makes you a Giga Chad. Then for day 48, I made my final secret weapon, a big bee with a gun. Then on day 49, I entered the castle and Tom Nook sent out the next mod, a robot axolotl, but it was no match for my big bee, and now all I had to defeat was Tom Nook. So on day 50, I called Saul Goodman, and I got him to convict Tom Nook for tax evasion. I then unhooked John from his fence, and he died. I then returned home devastated, but then I heard an oink, and found out John had actually been under my house the entire time, so now I had John back. So these videos take a very long time to make, so I'm sorry, but I'll be splitting this video into 2 parts, but if you have any mod ideas for the next video, please leave them in the comments, and goodbye.